weekend. So let's just jump right in. So, as we know, there was a little movie over this extended weekend, okay? And I'm talking about The Little Mermaid. So, this has been Disney's fourth or fifth live action remake. So, when you go back to some of the other ones they've done, I mean, um, we're talking about Beauty and the Beast, we're talking about Dumbo, we're talking even about, the Jungle Book. Um, Nice. So you're gonna see Spider-Verse. So I have to watch the first one tonight, and I'm gonna be going to see Spider-Verse on Thursday. So very cool, very cool. Um, so definitely. So this has been a big event, and so this actually scored really, really big, um, for everywhere. Okay, internationally though, it didn't really do so well, and I'm going to talk about those numbers in a minute. Coco says a fight broke up and was watching Little Mermaid. What? Get out of here. No kidding. That's weird. You'll have to tell me more about that a little later. That I definitely want to hear about that story. Um, but yeah, so let's just jump right into the article. So this comes from the THR, and it says that Little Mermaid swims to $118.6 million debut, Memorial Day debut. The Little Mermaid is swimming laps around the competition this Memorial Day weekend at the Memorial Day box office. Disney's live-action remake of the iconic animated film is headed for an estimated four-day debut of $118.6 million, the holiday's fifth largest opening of all time. According to final weekend actuals, the three-day actual gross is estimated at $96 million. On Saturday, the film looked like it was going to earn north of $120 million, but over the long weekend, but the domestic estimates shift. Overseas, Little Mermaid started out with a disappointing $68.1 million from 51 markets and a projected global launch of $186.7 through Monday. The pick drowned in China, opening to $2.5 million. So anybody who doesn't know, China is the largest box office market in the world. Box office pundits say the social media campaign protesting a black actress being Ariel could have had an impact in Asian markets and elsewhere. In North America, The Little Mermaid earned a promising A cinema score. It is the first 2023 tentpole to target females, which made up 68% of the ticket buyers. The film is also drawing an ethnic diverse audience, 35% of which were African American, followed by 33% being white, 23% being Latino, and 9% Asian or other. Black moviegoers over-indexed in a big way, while white moviegoers under-indexed. Rob Marshall directs the live-action adaptation. The new Little Mermaid stars Halle Bailey as Ariel, the spirited young mermaid who makes a dangerous deal with an evil sea witch, Ursula, in order to experience life on land and meet the dashing Prince Eric. The pack, however, poses a great risk to her father's watery kingdom. Bailey's performance as Ariel has drawn praise from critics amidst a racial backlash among social media commentators, protesting the cast of a black actress in the title role. Disney insiders don't expect the protests to hurt the film in North America, but agree the backlash could be impacting the film's performance in certain markets overseas. This cast also stars David Diggs, Awkwafina, Javier Bardem, and Art Malik, along with Jason Templey. Last year's Top Gun Maverick scored the biggest Memorial Day opening of all time with $160.5 million, followed by 2007's Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End at $153, 2008's Kingdom of the Crystal Skull $151 million, and X-Men's Last Stand at $122.9. Pirates and Indiana Jones opened on a Thursday, so it isn't an apples-to-apples comparison. The Friday through Monday earnings of those two films were $139.8 million and $126.9 million, respectively. Universal's Fast X easily came in at number 2 as it crossed the $500 million mark at the global box office in the first 12 days of its release. The pick grossed $28.5 million for the 4 days and $22 million for the 22.3 for the 3 days, which represented a 66% drop from its opening weekend. Fast X will finish Monday with an estimated world haul of around 507.3 million after earning another 24.3 million internationally for a fantastic domestic total of just under 100 for just under 40 $400 million. Disney's Marvels Disney and Marvel's The Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which is expected to cross the $300 million threshold in its fourth weekend, earning $25.3 million in the 4-day weekend. Universal and Illumination continues on with the Super Mario Brothers placing fourth in its eighth weekend, scoring $6.2 million for the 4 days. Okay, let's talk about this. That's an impressive opening. It really is an impressive opening. I had a very good weekend. Thank you, Dad. I took yesterday off because I was trying to clean some things up, and I got a lot to do coming up for June. I mean, we've got Spider-Verse coming out, and I was just reading the article from the THR about Little Mermaid and a bunch of other stuff, and we get some juicy stuff to get to. So, yeah. So basically, what ended up happening with this, as I said, this was one of the the fifth major film from Disney to do this. But it's interesting because this is, as it mentioned in the piece, this is the first film that's really for the female crowd, and 2/3 of it was female. This is really good. Underperformed a little. I was shocked when I read the article to see how much it really underperformed in China. That all being said, I think it's going to be fine. And the other thing too is you're going to have people to come out. Not everybody's going to be happy. And this backlash for Ariel, okay, Halle Bailey, it's always going to be there. Okay, you're always going to have people that say, "Oh, I don't like her because of such and such." That's not going to impact the film. This is where people, I think, have to be able to separate the art from the artist, and just look at it as a whole. Don't look at it as, that person. Look at them, how they're performing for this role. And I think it'll be fine. And it's not a bad take. What blew my mind, okay, and Kevin says here, Little Mermaid will make more money domestic than, yeah, I can see that. Because, you know, because of, I mean, it only made $68 million overseas, Kevin. You're right about that. And performing at 2.5 or $2.7 million, not good. And I think that even with this backlash, you're going to have, I've always said this, and you guys know this about me. It's never about the opening weekend. It's about the second weekend. And we would in the piece, they were just talking about how Fast 10 fell off a cliff, literally, okay, dropping 66%. It's going to be interesting. Now, speaking of, on the flip side of the coin, okay, you have Guardians of the Galaxy. So let's talk about this real quick. Guardians of the Galaxy made almost $27 million, $26 million in its third weekend. It's approaching $300 million domestic. So this is one of those films that could really carry over. Now, I don't see this doing great business against Spider-Verse and everything. We're now starting to get in the thick of it, right? We are now starting to get in the thick of things because now next week, okay, we're going to have Spider-Verse come out. And now you're going to have 4 movies, okay? You're going to have 4 movies that are really going to be out there for everybody. You're going to have Guardians, you're going to have Fast 10, you're going to have Little Mermaid, and you're going to have Spider-Verse. This is when things start to get interesting. So I'll be very curious, and we'll probably talk about it next week, about what the projections are going to be for Spider-Verse and how they're going to do it. And I think Spider-Verse is, obviously, I think it's going to win the weekend, but it's going to be interesting to see how much it, wins the weekend by, and what the second week drop off for Little Mermaid is. Because if this drops off like a cliff, okay, like a 66%, like Fast 10, then that's worrisome. Okay, usually you want somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 to 50%. If you can get that, great. I mean, the fact that Mario, I know I keep talking about it, guys. The fact that Mario made almost $7 million in its eighth week out, and by the way, you can get it on streaming, is still incredible. Anyways, guys, what do you think about the numbers for Little Mermaid, and just in general? What do you think about Guardians of the Galaxy holding at 27 million? Do you think it's going to do just the same amount next week? What do you think is going to happen throughout the month of May because we have so many movies? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll get back to you.